Update. I think my older sister thinks her boyfriend is cheating on her with me. Original post. I don't know if I should be asking for advice because I honestly don't know what to do. For more context, my older sister is 22 and her boyfriend and I are the same age, 19. I'll call my sister Kate and her boyfriend Adam, which are not their real names. So Adam and I were initially acquaintances. We were both in the same year in class in high school and are now in the same university, studying the same thing. We were never close enough to be friends, but after he started dating Kate, we became friends. Okay, friends, since we have a lot in common. I must mention I have no interest or any feelings for Adam, but when Adam and I kind of became friends, my sister didn't like it, which is understandable. So I kept my distance like she wanted, but Adam and I still had to talk because we have a few classes together. We only really talk about school or when it has to do with a class or anything Kate related. So Adam had been invited by Kate over for dinner, and he asked me if I wanted a ride home in his car since we were still going to the same place after all. I didn't think much of it, so I agreed. We had just come from evening classes, and it was dark out, and I was too exhausted. Most of the time during the ride, I was actually asleep, so we didn't even talk at all. But when we went into the house, I was heading up to my room when Kate grabbed me and pulled me back and asked why Adam and I came back together. Adam immediately tried to tell her why, but she started shouting at him, telling him to stop talking for me and to stop defending me too. Her shouting caused my parents to rush over. She then started screaming at me, telling me to stop being jealous and to find my own man to drive me home. She said she's noticed everything and that she hates how I think every man wants me. She called me desperate too. She was also tightly grabbing me, digging her nails into my wrist, which hurt, so I yanked my arm away and she shoved me. Adam tried to hold her back, but she began to scream and cry for him to stop defending me and that he was her boyfriend and not mine. My parents tried to calm her down, but she was shaking and breathing heavily and fast. She was also looking at me, and I felt, and still feel, so shaken up by the scene. My mom started yelling at me to leave the room until Kate was better and said that I was triggering her more by being there. I felt confused and accused. I tried to tell them that I had no idea what I did wrong and tried to explain, but my sister started to make these sounds while shaking, panting, and glaring at me, which honestly scared me. My mom yelled at me to leave again, and I did. I heard them ask Adam to leave too, and he also did. He later texted me and asked me if my sister was okay, but I've honestly been too scared to leave my room. I feel a bit scared that my sister might do something to me. And I've honestly cried a lot and feel very shaken up because of seeing my sister like that. I don't know if it was a panic attack or a breakdown, but she looked angrier than anything. I feel a bit responsible for her having such a reaction since she told me before to stay away from Adam, so I wish I never took the ride home with him. I don't know who to talk to about this, and I'm still in my room. I know I've said this a lot already, but I'm genuinely scared to leave my room because of everything. And I feel like my parents both think it's my fault that my sister acted that way. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Wow, okay. Well, if I was Adam, I'd be running for the hills. If Adam doesn't heed to that red flag and kick rocks, he's asking for a life of misery. Her insecurities are not your problem. If you're scared, see if there's anybody who will house you. I actually think you should do that now, because those types of girls will try to hurt you. You need to have a conversation with your parents, and don't let them gaslight or manipulate you into thinking you did anything wrong, because you didn't. Thank you so much. Right now, I don't really want to talk to my family, since I feel like if I go to them and my sister sees me, she might act that way again, which I don't want. Regarding my living situation, I don't know if I feel comfortable living with anyone next to me, since I'll feel a bit like a burden. Now for the first update. Sorry for the delay in posting an update. I had taken a break from my phone and social media due to harassment I'll mention later in this post. I'd like to thank everyone who gave me advice and encouragement. I didn't really expect it, so I'm very grateful. I would first like to begin by saying that everyone was right. I should have left my house for some time after Kate had such a reaction toward me. So, after Kate's meltdown a week ago, Adam actually started keeping his distance from Kate and our family. I did too. I'd only leave my room to go to school or to get dinner, which I had in my room. My mom also advised me to do that because she was worried about how Kate would be toward me, especially since Adam wasn't talking to her much at the moment. But he would still text me occasionally if he had something to tell me in terms of school, though he wouldn't even ask about Kate. So, about 3 or so days after that happened, I was at school and got a text from Kate. And she basically told me that she hated me and that if I came home that day, she'd actually unalive me. I was so confused. I didn't know what I had done since I hadn't spoken to her in some time. I forwarded the message to my parents, and I was also upset since she was threatening me out of nowhere. Plus, she was insulting me a lot too. Kate called me, and when I answered, she was crying and screaming at me, saying it's my fault, that I never want to see her happy, and that I took away someone so important to her just because I don't have a man for myself. I tried to tell her I didn't know what happened, but she kept saying, "Liar, it's your fault. Liar, it's your fault." Then when I hung up, I went to ask Adam about it. He told me he had ended things because Kate had started not only calling his phone a lot, but also his parents. She was also texting his friends on Instagram, asking them to talk to him so he would talk to her again. Adam also said that she started threatening him too, but with her life. Like saying that if he actually left her, she was going to end herself and it would be his fault. I didn't believe him at first since I had never seen or heard my sister be like that. So he showed me the texts as proof and told me that he couldn't handle being in such a relationship since he was now afraid of her. Then he said he was also scared of me or interacting with me just in case Kate would hurt me again for it. I called my mom and tried to explain everything to her after I was done with all my classes. I even had Adam there to speak to them just in case she wouldn't believe me or wouldn't believe what Adam had told me. But my mom just started yelling at me. She told me that what I was doing was wrong, communicating with someone who caused my sister so much pain, and even trying to get her to speak to him. She then refused to speak to him or even hear the reason he broke up with her because all he did was hurt Kate to her, and said that me continuing to speak to him meant I didn't care about my sister. I then told her how Kate was threatening me, and she told me that it was just out of anger, and that I should stay away from Adam if I don't want to make Kate angrier. I kept trying to get her to understand how I felt, but she kept dismissing me so much, and yelling at me that I cried and had to end the call. I stayed in school with Adam for some time, and we spoke about what I should do, mostly because I was just scared of going home and wanted to talk to someone who understood me, not to trigger Kate. Kate was spamming me with texts asking if I was with Adam and what was taking me so long to go home. She was also calling me a lot, and when I didn't answer her calls, she called me through my mom's phone. When I answered and heard it was her, I hung up after she said she knew I was with Adam. I honestly felt so exhausted by all of this and had to even face the fear of asking a friend who sleeps in the dorms if I could stay with her. I told her everything too, and we're close, so I have been here for a few days. I told my parents that I was with a friend to prep for some exams, and both of them, especially my father, insist I go home, especially since I'm the youngest. They don't trust me to stay out of the house since, first, I have nothing on me. But I'm actually just scared to go home and I don't care. My parents think I'm overreacting about Kate's threats and even made me speak to her on the phone. She told me she didn't mean it, but I don't believe her. They're saying I'm trying to ruin Kate's name by involving others in family matters. Like, what? I had to turn off my phone for some time because of Kate constantly calling and texting threats and insults to me. And when I tell my parents, they literally made excuses. Oh, and on Saturday, all 3 of them came to my school to try and find me. I was lucky not to bump into them, but Adam and one of my other friends were unfortunately spotted by Kate. Adam didn't want to talk to them, so he avoided them and warned me about it. My friend who did talk to them told me my sister asked her if I was staying with Adam, and my parents told her to tell me to come home and to take their calls. So yeah, I apologize if this post feels all over the place. I tried to explain everything for everyone who wanted an update. I'm still so stressed about everything, and keeping my distance isn't helping like I thought it would. I'm constantly worried that my sister or my parents will find me, and that I will have to speak to them about this, which I don't want to, but I know I'll have to go home soon since my parents are insisting on it. Holy crap. Why is she looking for you? So she can keep threatening you and blaming you for her psychosis? I'm glad you have friends to stay with. Are there any resources at your campus that can help you with mental health or counseling? Stay safe. Thank you so much. I haven't considered counseling yet since I still feel a little guilty that more people know about what happened with Kate, and my parents wouldn't really be happy about it. Stay away from both. Your sister needs serious help. Your parents don't seem to be doing much. I know you're very young, and it's probably hard for you to move out, but it almost seems like your parents would choose your sister to stay home over you. The issue with moving out is that I'm financially dependent on my parents, and I've gotten used to life in school without worrying about having a job, since the course I'm doing is quite heavy. But I'm now considering it. Thank you so much. Second update. I am once again overwhelmed by the support, advice, and encouragement I have received. Thank you so much. I once again took everyone's advice. The hardest part about this was having to move out of the house I grew up in. It was really hard to go back. I actually felt worried, but I decided to go back home today when both of my parents were at home. I also went with a friend just in case, plus I had time since my classes were all in the evening. My family has this obsession with keeping the family image good, and I think I kind of surprised them by coming back so suddenly and with a guest. First of all, I sat down with them while my friend went upstairs to my room to begin packing and obviously to give us space. My parents then started talking in quiet tones, basically telling me to stop being dramatic, to stop dragging this issue out, that it already happened, and that I should just forget it and come back home. I first asked if I could stay in the campus accommodation or the apartments close to school, since I am actually doing my final exams from Thursday and wanted to stay in school where I can focus just on school. I thought this approach would work since my parents are pretty strict about school, but they immediately refused. My father said I wasn't allowed to until I was older, and my mother said she knew it was because of Kate. I then told them I've already decided that that's what I want, and I'll do it anyway. My father threatened to stop paying my fees. He also told me to think about what our other family members would think, and that I'd have a lot of time in our house with my sister during the summer break to make up. But I dreaded actually living so much time in the same place as Kate. Plus, I had already asked the school about summer housing, and it is allowed, but you have to pay a different price, which I expected my parents not to agree to. My friend came downstairs while we were talking and called me to the side. Then she told me that she was looking for a suitcase, and Kate burst in and lunged at her, but then stopped when she realized it wasn't me. She said she was scared and wanted to leave, and I felt scared too. I took my friend to my parents and asked her to repeat what she just told me, and my mom just sighed. She told me to go if I wanted, and to see how I'll survive without them. I looked at my dad, but he didn't say anything. I asked if I was allowed to leave, and my dad said I could go. But as long as I wasn't under his protection, I shouldn't expect anything from them. My friend said to me that it was okay, and she'd help me pack. So I asked my parents to tell Kate to come downstairs, and my mom said she can do whatever she wants since she lives there. So my friend and I just went upstairs. My room was wide open, and we actually hesitated to go in, but Kate wasn't there. I packed most of my clothes, not everything. Then we left immediately after. I decided to speak to the school with my friend more about on-campus housing and explained my entire situation, and I was actually allowed to have it if I took summer classes or an internship. But since I'm a freshman, it would be harder to do an internship, so I'm choosing to do summer classes. Sorry for the TMI. I was then asked to speak to the campus safety officers concerning my sister and the threats she made against me. But I'll go with Adam tomorrow, since we both have evidence. I had a lot of work bringing my stuff to the dorms, as well as an evening class to prepare for. I called my father afterward and told him about it, the housing and fees, and then I asked again if he was really not going to pay my fees or support my other expenses. He said that he'd pay for school fees and the housing, but I'd have to figure everything else out, like food and stuff, which I think is manageable. Now, regarding pressing charges, I don't want to risk being cut off financially by my parents since I am not ready to pay for my own fees yet. Plus, after I blocked my sister, she stopped bothering me. But after my friend told me that Kate lunged at her when she came back home, I'm worried she'll do that again to me. And a lot of comments on my posts have given me scenarios that made her scarier to me. But Adam wants to file a restraining order against her. For some reason, he doesn't have her blocked, just muted, but he views all her texts and even forwards some to me, or sends screen recordings of voice notes she sent him. And yes, we are actively communicating because we're going through the same issue. I hope to just receive protection from Kate. Even if it means spending my entire summer in school, I'll do it. I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow, but even now, the school has said they're not letting people into the dorms area, so I'll be safe until then. To the people hating on me for not pressing charges earlier, I hope you understand I fully depend on my parents for everything. I was worried that if I did, I'd be cut off, but after my finals, I want to try and get a job so I can earn some money during the summer, and hopefully I'll get used to such independence. This is my final update. Thank you for all the support. I'm okay, so is Adam, and we'll continue working on making sure we're both safe. As I mentioned, I will be starting my finals on Thursday, and I'll be very stressed and busy, so I might not be able to post another update or interact much with Kate. And sorry again if this post is all over the place. She lunged at your friend? Kate needs some serious help, and your parents are willfully ignoring this. She's going to hurt someone one day badly, and they won't be able to cover this up. How was the family dynamic before with Kate? Was she always like this with you? Also, you need to expose your sister to everyone. Gather all your text messages, voicemails, everything you have and place it in a group chat or Google Doc file and send it to all of your relatives and post it publicly. Shame is the only thing that will make your parents listen, since image is everything. If you're worried, then maybe her ex could do it on your behalf. If it's public on Facebook, your relatives would see it because of the tags. She got weird after I became friends with Adam, but before we weren't the closest either. And I will ask him to do this. Thank you. Adam doesn't have her blocked because he's collecting evidence. Never block people, just ignore them. All those messages could be future evidence needed to pin something on them or defend yourself from their accusations. Last story. My best friend tried to ruin my marriage. And I'm so angry about it. My wife was in a weak point, and he tried to manipulate her feelings to sleep with her. I never would have expected this from him. I'm so angry, upset, and baffled. And I can't help but to think this is my fault somehow. She only spoke to him because I wasn't emotionally available at the time. Her problem stemmed from old pain early on in our relationship. Is it my fault? I keep asking myself that. He was aware of some of our issues, and in his own words during our last conversation, we all know you two aren't going to last. It boggles my mind how he could say that. I can't imagine my life without her. It's why I married her. It hurts knowing someone you trusted thought so little of your relationship. It hurts knowing he was harboring feelings for her for years without telling you. It hurts knowing that he was planning on sleeping with her when he knew we both were trying for a baby. I feel like I can never trust anyone again, at least not a man. Now for the advice. You kinda glossed over her only talking to him because you weren't emotionally available. Did she initiate, or did he? She reached out to talk to him about her feelings. I was emotionally unavailable since that week I was extremely stressed. Car was totaled. Had to take out a ton from savings to get a new one. Work was killing me with several 12 shifts in a row. My family was up my ass, etc. She didn't want to add more onto my plate or didn't want to make me more upset when, not gonna lie, that week I was mentally barely holding on. Regrettably, this whole thing happened and I ended up taking a few days off of work for my mental health. Yeah, that is not a friend. So did your wife engage or did the right thing? And surely this guy is dead to you now. She didn't reciprocate. She told me as soon as I got home from work what happened. He is dead to me. It's hard to not call him my best friend since I'm so used to it. But now he's just a piece of turd I knew.